Welcome to the Hair, Babes and Business podcast. My name is Jess and I am your host. I have over 14 years of experience in the hair industry and have owned and successfully fully booked out 2 of my own hair salons. And now I'm taking a step back from being behind the chair to be here with you instead, teaching you all of the skills, knowledge and advice that I've learned along the way. I want to teach you everything that I've learned so that you can learn from my mistakes and don't have to learn these lessons the hard way. Every week I bring out new episodes for you where I tackle industry issues, talk about what's trending and what's not, share business insight, bring on different guest speakers with different levels and areas of expertise within the industry, and figure out ways that we can make our businesses successful and profitable. I'm so excited you've decided to join me today. Let's get into it. Hello guys and welcome back to another episode of the Hair Babes and Business podcast. My name is Jess and I am your host, and today I'm coming to you in the most disorganized, unplanned, off the cusp episode that you'll probably ever hear. Oh guys, I'm just going to be so real with you. My life has been in a little bit of turmoil lately and it's fine. Like, I'm going to get through everything that I've been going through, but it's just been a lot. And I had an episode recorded for today that I was going to share with you all. And it was an episode that I know would help so many of you, and so many of you would have found it really helpful. But I've just been given some advice not to share it, even though it would have been so helpful, because it does involve other people and it's a story about some difficult things that happened within my salon space, and I've just been advised not to share it. And it sucks because I know that that episode would have helped so many people, but maybe one day I can re-record it in a way that's not going to get anyone in trouble or get involve people that don't need to be involved, basically. But yeah, I will share that story one day. I'll re-record it and I'll do it justice. But I just feel I put my heart and soul into it, and I can definitely understand why it's a good idea to just leave it be. But I just know that it would have been so helpful, and I was just feeling like really defeated, and I was like, I don't even know what to talk about now. Like, that was such a good episode and I felt like it was going to be so helpful. And then I was like just having a bit of a chat to my mum, and I was like, maybe I just won't post an episode this week. Like, maybe I'm just not meant to do one. Maybe I'll just have a break and let it go. And then I was like, I think I'm just like at a point with like everything that I'm going through and how I'm feeling right now and everything that's going on. Like, I think I'm kind of just at a point where I'm like, I just don't feel like doing it. I don't feel like putting my creative energy into something. I don't feel like coming up with something to talk about. Like, I think I'm just going to skip it for a week. And then I just had this like download, and I was like, you know, as hairdressers, that's something we literally have to do all the time. Like, go and show up and be the best version of ourselves and give our all to our clients, even when we are like really not coping, even when we're going through grief or going through a breakup, or we have something going on in our family, or like we've experienced a loss of someone, like whatever it may be. As hairdressers, we are constantly showing up and giving everyone the best version of ourselves, no matter what we're going through. And I just thought that's what I'm going to talk about today. So like I said, this is a little unhinged, it's totally unplanned, but I thought that would be something really good to talk about today, is the fact that it's hard showing up no matter what. It's hard showing up in this role as a hairdresser, no matter what you're going through. And I guess that's really what I just wanted to make today's topic about. So first of all, I just wanted to start by saying, like, hairdressers truly are superheroes. Like, the fact that we can go through so much personally and still show up and still do our jobs and still make other people feel so beautiful and so special and so cared for and so loved is honestly a superpower. And I just want you to just stop for a second and think about how amazing you are that you can do that. Like, let's not even get into the technical side of hairdressing. Let's not even get into the side of like running a business or any of those other things. Like, just stop for a second and think about the fact that you are like such a selfless person, that you keep showing up to work every day and putting like everything that's going on in your life aside to give to other people and fill other people's cups and just make other people feel so special. Like, isn't that amazing? Like, we just don't get enough credit for that. And I just don't know if anyone said this to you lately, but I just feel like you should be so proud of yourself and the person you are. Hairdressers are such nurturing, caring, just beautiful human beings, and they don't get the credit for that. And especially at the moment, like, I feel like there's such toxicity in the hair and beauty industry. Like, it's so hard to like please everybody and make everybody happy, and there's like always a little bit of fear surrounding like, is this person going to be happy with what I've done? Are they gonna like do a horrible internet review about it? Like, what's going to happen? And I just think, you know, what we do is so unbelievably incredible, and it's so easy to sometimes get down and just be like, this is really hard, and like, people don't really appreciate it for what it is. So I just want to remind you, if no one has lately, that you are incredible, so special, and doing such a good job. And so congratulations to you for just being a really good person and trying to fill other people's cups. Like, the fact that that is what our job revolves around is just amazing. And the fact, like, it takes a special person to be able to do that, and you are a special person, and just like, don't forget that. And something else that I wanted to talk about today, because I think it's important, is just like breaking the stigma a little bit, because I think it came from like this like toxic positivity kind of movement that was around when I first started hairdressing, that it was very much like, as a hairdresser, you don't tell your clients anything about the bad things that's going on in your life. You make it all about the client. You very much like only tell them the bare minimum about yourself, like, and whatever it may be. And there's two things about this. If you choose not to tell your clients anything about what's going on in your personal life, it actually is so crazy how your work will become an escape. When my ex-husband and I first got divorced, I was still working in the salon and I didn't tell anyone. And it was so nice for me to be able to like go into that space and just like be normal and like not talk about this thing that was like consuming my mind. It was so nice to be able to go in that space and just have some like normality for a couple of hours a day. Like, it felt really good. And so you kind of get to pick, like, if you're going through something, you can either choose not to tell them and just talk about like all the random stuff they want to talk about, have some normality for a couple of hours, kind of escape what's actually going on in your mind. Or this is the kind of where I want to break some stigma. I think we're at a place now where, and it's with particular clients, and you have to be diligent with figuring out which of the clients you can talk about this to and which of the clients you can't. But I definitely think there are clients now that you can open up and share like, hey, I'm actually having a bit of a rough day. Like, this is what's going on. And it shouldn't become a therapy session. It shouldn't become you like trauma dumping on your client. But I think sometimes just giving a little bit of perspective as to like, yeah, I'm feeling a bit flat. Like, I'm just going through something at the moment, is actually good. It's good for people to see that we're human and we go through things just like everybody else. And I don't think that you should be like trauma dumping to the point that you're taking away from that relaxing experience that they're going through. But I would generally say that like, if you pick the right client, they would be happy to hear about what's going on in your life and happy to kind of like give you some advice. I know that like after my divorce, I didn't really say too much. I was kind of just like, oh yeah, like my ex and I have divorced, so you know, my salon's like moving or whatever. And then having conversations with clients that I had from that whole time that I was living in that, where I had my salon in my house, just having clients be like, oh my God, I went through exactly the same thing. I hope you're doing okay. When I was going through that, I did this thing and it really helped. And just like little pieces of perspective from people that like are not in your direct friendship and family circle is really helpful. It's just getting that like outsider's perspective on a situation. Now, like I said, I think to keep things professional, you don't really want to be like trauma dumping on your clients, but I think like sharing experiences is just like good for human connection. And I think that's something we have kind of lost in a little bit of a way. Like, I think the human connect, I believe this, and I've said this in like some previous podcast episodes, I think in 2025, people are craving human connections and they want that like a little bit of vulnerability and they want that little bit of like humanness back. And so I don't necessarily think there's anything wrong in sharing, like if there is something that you're going through and you want to just have a little chat about it, to just open up and be honest, because I think people will respect the vulnerability. And I think people will respect the fact that you are a human too and you're going through things as well. And I know this is a super short podcast episode. Like I said, this is not at all what I was planning on sharing today, but I do think this is an important message. The final thing that I kind of just wanted to add into this is that, like, I know, again, it's that toxic way of thinking that we all kind of grew up with in the salons that we all learned and grew up in. But, like, if you're having a day where you really cannot find the strength in you to pour into other people's cups, you are so entitled to just take a mental health day. And I encourage that. And I know there's probably a lot of salon owners now being like, oh my God, no, don't say that. But hear me out. I just think if you're at a point where you're like, I don't have any energy to give to someone else, and like, it's hard for me to even like get out of bed and brush my teeth and put my hair up and put a bit of makeup on. How can you give someone who's paying good money for their hair and coming in for a beautiful experience, how can you give them what they really deserve? How can you really give them that luxury and really give them that special experience if you can't even like nurture yourself at that point in time? I just think it's so much better to take the day off, reset, get back on track, and then come back the next day as a fresh person, ready to go and ready to give it your all. To me, I would rather have someone be like a little bit disappointed that their appointment was cancelled, but then when they come in, you know, in a week's time, they get the very best of you. They walk away with hair they love. They had a really good experience. The vibe was good. They felt really loved, nurtured, and cared for. Then have the client come in and then they have like a half done experience. They walk away and their hair's like, okay, but it's not the best it's ever been. And they kind of walk away feeling like, I don't know if I really had the best time. I don't know if that was really what I wanted. To me, I think it's better to just put it off until you are in the right headspace to do it. And I know that we feel guilty for letting people down. And I know that we feel like we have to turn up no matter what. And I guess this is almost kind of in a way contradicting literally what I'm doing right now, but I did find some inspiration at the last minute. But I think it is okay to just say like, nah, like I can't give you my best today. So I'm going to wait until I can, because it's more important that you get the best of me than I don't disappoint you in like cancelling your appointment for a couple of days, but then I just give you a really average job. I hope that makes sense. Anyway, guys, this is totally unplanned, a little bit of a chaotic episode, but I do think that it is a good message to share, and it was something that like came to me and I was like, no, I think like people would find this helpful. So I hope that you did find it helpful. I know it's a bit shorter and it's not really the same kind of structure I normally follow, but I promise you from next week I'll be back on track. I'm actually super excited from like a point of view of what's going on in my business and my life right now. I have lined up a bunch of interviews that I'm doing over the next few days, and I'm speaking to a bunch of different people in a bunch of different areas about different things to do with this industry, and I am going to be bringing you so much awesome information and knowledge and advice and wisdom, and I can't wait to share those with you over the next couple of weeks. I've got a bunch of Zoom calls set up. And next week, I'm bringing you the juiciest episode. I cannot wait to share that one with you. Make sure you stay tuned for that, because I think you're going to find it so good. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for listening. Thank you for being here. Thank you for supporting me. Thank you for putting up with my chaos. Like, it wouldn't be real if there wasn't a little bit of that, right? So if you enjoyed today's episode, please subscribe, give me a like, give me a good review. And as always, if you haven't joined me on Instagram or TikTok, come find me at Hair Babes and Business. And finally, if you haven't signed up for the Business and Thrive in 2025 course, make sure you get onto that now. It's a super low investment of $19.99 and it will set you up for a year of success. So who doesn't want to get involved in that? Let's make 2025 our best year yet in business. Thank you guys so much for being here. Thank you for your love and support. I love you guys so much, and I will see you next Monday. Mwah.